So I thought that I could document just me going into detail about overall just kind of what I have gone through and how it has shaped my reality today. And I just want to talk about it. And this is also something that I will have to also look back on to help me with growth in my own life, because we are forever evolving. And I pride myself on understanding that the objective in life is to always keep growing and to keep getting better. And to expand on that, I want to go into what has kind of shaped my way of thinking and why I am now in my mid to later 20s on the journey to rewire my way of thinking for better. I have allowed grief for the past 10 years to shape a lot of my reality. And it has been difficult. And if you have been through this and have been through the loss of a parent, then it doesn't matter what age you are, the pain of losing a parent is heavy, one that weighs on your heart. And I lost my mom at 16, and that's like the years where you feel like you just, you're getting to really needing your mother or father's advice. And for me, I had to learn to walk on my own. And I had help, and I had people who have been very helpful to me in my life and aiding in my growth up until the point that where I am today. And I don't discredit them. But it is nothing like the love and the advice and the care that can come from your own mother. For years, I have let grief shape my reality, and I let it shape my relationship with God. And this is all what I am getting into, is the spiritual aspect of why I'm honestly even recording this now, because I'm having to be obedient. And I don't really like social media. It's not my cup of tea. I don't mind it, but I feel like I have purpose in helping people, and that wouldn't be beneficial for me to keep the things that God has taught me to myself to where I could help aid someone. I want to go into with carrying grief as long as I've carried it. I'm going to continue carrying it for the way, the rest of my life. But the way I carry it is I'm choosing to make a choice to carry it differently. And a word of advice that I received from this lady when my mom died was, don't let anyone tell you how to grieve, and just know that you will have your days for the rest of your life. She also led with saying that things will get better, but they will never get easier. And when she led with or finished rather with, it'll never get easier, in my head, I'm like, it won't get easier. Lady, I thought you were trying to help me out here. And in reality, as I have matured and I have spiritually grown, she was not telling a lie. Grief is a forever thing. As humans, we learn how to cope, we learn how to deal with it, and then we adjust and we continue walking. As to why I have continued with my life, and it is 10 years later. But how I walked was areas that I would say that led to irritability in my early 20s, anxiety that I have dealt with, depression, and I have never been suicidal. And I thank God for the strength and the willpower that my mind carries. But there are days where I am tired. And I know that in your 20s, this is the time when life is difficult, as to why I call my 20s my trying 20s. Your 20s is the time where you establish the foundation that you want for your life going into your 30s and your 40s and your later life. This is the time where you establish, boundaries with if you would like to be a married person, if you want to have children, what your finances look like. And in your 20s, finances are probably the difficult thing that most people, and even older people, will tell you that my 20s, I ain't have it like that. Respectfully, in your 20s, you can't expect to have this come up and just be financially stable. And I feel like with this day and age and having social media, a lot of people make things look prettier than they are. Comparison is a thief of joy. And God has weighed that on my spirit heavily, because He is ensuring me to make sure I keep my mind focused on the purpose He has set for me and don't look at the distractions around. Yes, you can congratulate people. Yes, you can be happy for people that are successful in their younger ages, but don't ever misconstrue their success for what you are supposed to have. What is just destined for you will be for you in the time that God has it set for you. Financial freedom has been a goal for me since I have graduated college. I have never found joy in partying, clubbing, and all of that kind of thing. So I have had my mind disciplined in other areas. Would I like to travel? Yes, but I have found value in waiting. And that also is another key to another aspect in something I'll get into later. But waiting for God to answer you, waiting for God to tell you yes, and waiting for God to give you the green light to go is one of the most difficult things that I feel like I've had to deal with in my 20s. God doesn't move when we want Him to. And with that, I have learned that shaping my way of thinking for positivity, even in the seasons that I don't feel anything positive, has helped shape my reality for a more stable and healthier foundation. Financial freedom is a true goal for myself, and making sure that I stay on route with what I know God has destined for me comes with sacrifices. I don't get my nails done. I've learned to do my own nails. I have learned to do my own hair. Braids, as far as that, no, I'm gonna pay for convenience. But then again, I have to be tedious with when I choose to get my braids done. Might have to go some months without them. I've learned to do my own lashes. I've learned to do my own makeup, toes, everything. And with that, God placed on my heart, like, look how self-sufficient you are. There is nothing that you can't do that you don't put your mind to. And that goes into the discipline aspect with me. And you choose the lifestyle you make for yourself. And having God centered in my life has been my main priority, because when my mom died, I let grief and anger distract me from my relationship with God. I grew angry with Him, and I grew selfish to think that my mom was mine. God gifted me her, and He gifted me the opportunity to have her earth side. God placed on my spirit that He took back what was His. And yes, it might hurt in the meantime, but He did what was rightfully so His business to. My mom was placed here earthside to guide me, protect me, and give me, foundation for how I need to carry myself as a young lady going through my life. And as an adult, I got a lot out of my mother than most girls my age would. I had a very open relationship with my mother. My mom, I told her everything. And I thank God for that, because that helped guide and develop me into the woman that I am today and how I carry myself. Although I lost my mom at a young age, the guidance from that lady surpassed beyond 16 years that I had with her. And I'm grateful for that. I chose to rewire my relationship with God and found value in my struggle, because I know that there is purpose in my pain. God has shaped my way of thinking now and has totally transformed my reality. Do I still have trying days? Yes, I do. Do I still have depressing times? Yes, I do. But the way that I get myself and pull myself out of them is way quicker than I did when I was in my earlier years of my 20s. The discipline that I have faced to be without certain things, it's hard, because I'm young and I'm not perfect, and I still have immature ways where I do, ooh, I see something nice, I just want to buy it. But I can't be like that. And God is teaching me that the things that I'm disciplined for now will create the foundation that I genuinely know that He has designed for me and what I desire, because God will give us the desires of our heart. With that being said, I have been in a season of solitude. I am alone, quite frankly, all the time, unless I am at work. I have learned to accept and I find peace in my time alone. Reason being for this is God has placed on my heart to be very cautious with making sure I am at my best self before engaging in relationships with people. I have been in a committed relationship for 7 years, and I thank God for him. My boyfriend has taught me a whole lot about being selfless, because what people have to understand is when you are in a marriage-oriented based relationship, like we're intentional and marriage is the goal, you have to be selfless. And with dating someone else who is also in their later 20s, in their 20s, we've been together our entire 20s. You have seen so many different seasons of their life. And what I thank God for that is through these seasons, we have learned to continue evolving with each other. And no, it has not been easy. Being in a committed relationship that is marriage oriented takes a lot of healing. Spiritually, I had to be aligned with God, and so does he. And there's areas that both of us needed to work on that. And with doing that, centering God in the center of your relationship, boy, what can God do? And through life, your 20s is not the only age frame that you're going to evolve. I will evolve again in my 30s. I will evolve again in my 40s. You are constantly changing. And you have to ensure that the people you surround yourself with are understanding to that, because they're also going to be evolving. Some people you might outgrow, and some people might grow with you, and they're with you side by side for life. I'm also the same way when it comes to friendships. Throughout my 20s, I have not been in multiple friendships. I have been cautious with whom I've chosen or choose to surround myself with, and I'm okay with that. I'm not a bad friend. I don't think that there's people out here who cannot be good friends to me. I think that there is very well-rounded women out there who are like-minded like me and who are on the same pathway as me and desire the same things. But the same way God had to prepare me before I met my boyfriend, it's the same way I feel like I owe that person that I meet that is my lifelong homegirl that same respect. I want to ensure that God created a foundation for me as a friend, because God created the foundation in my heart and desires to be a wife, and I need to ensure that I understand the foundation he has created for me to be a genuine friend. Because the same way I aspired longevity in my relationship to then lead to marriage is the same way I aspire longevity in a genuine friendship. Friends have to understand that there will be disagreements. The same way there is in relationships, you cannot be unrealistic to think that you will have just bliss. In friendship and relationship, there will come conflict. But the true people that you are designed for will understand how to communicate with you through conflict and understand how to apologize at their wrongs, how to call you out on your wrongs, and you have to be accepting too. You know what? I was wrong and I apologize. And that has been something for me that I had to learn, that it is okay for conflict. I don't like conflict. Most people don't. But learning that I owe it to my friend the same way I owe it to my relationship to be a person that they can come to and that we can help guide each other on this thing called life. I do not want to be that person that is so out of it to where I have a genuine friend that comes along, but all I do is bring chaos to them, and vice versa. And so with being in a season of solitude, that has helped me create the space that I want in a friendship. The same way we have an agenda of what we want out of a man or a woman in a relationship is the same agenda I have created for what I require out of a friendship. And those things have helped tailor into my way of thinking and how I am today. And I thank God for it. God has to be the center of your life. You cannot expect a stable marriage and foundational marriage without God being the foundation and center of your life first, in his life or her life first, and then you create that foundation together. And the same thing comes with a friendship. I need God ordained friendships. I don't judge, and I'm not saying my friend has to do and like all the things that I like, because at the end of the day, they are their own person. And that is the same thing with my boyfriend. He is his own person. Learning that people are their own individuals is sometimes hard for people, because you can expect someone to have all of the desires and the likes that you have, but that does not mean that y'all are not compatible. And the same thing comes into play with friendships. I just want to say to anyone that is in their early 20s, mid 20s, or late 20s, find people that encourage you, find people that build you up, find people that understand that your why is valuable to you and that they help aid you in gaining the pathway to your success, and vice versa as well, you for them. And I pray that anyone that is marriage oriented or seeking a long-term relationship, that you make sure that your core values are determined within you first, and that God is centered in your life. Because without God, a lot will crumble. And with God, I have learned so much through my walk of life on how important it is to have him in my life. I thank God for my hard days now. I thank God when things don't go my way anymore. I thank God when I'm angry, because that just gives me more realization that he is on my spirit heavy and that he is readjusting my way of thinking. And if I could go back to my 16-year-old self and tell her it will be okay, it will. Days have gotten better, but the life that I have created without my mom is one I know she will be proud of. And it has not been easy. But God didn't say life will be easy. And that is why there is a test in the testimony, because life will test you. And in those tests, it's all about how you choose to respond and react to them that will help create the foundation for your livelihood going forward in life. And I pray that anyone that is just battling depression, or you're battling self-esteem and you're battling comparison, find peace within. Find a hobby that you know will tailor you to being the person God has set you here to be. And if you are not spiritual, I pray that you find a way to make time and build a relationship with God. God is always waiting. God is always there with open arms. You draw nigh to him, he'll draw near to you. And God is always going to welcome anyone